Ma'am, how are you?
Hello, Prreeti. I am great. I feel wonderful. And how are you?
What are you in the mood for today?
You know, I was thinking about this as I was driving here. How about some Sichuan?
Ooh, one of my favorite cuisines ever. It's just so delicious. Like, it's got all the flavors I like. So spicy, onion, ginger, garlic, everything that, and it's got that Sichuan peppercorn, which you feel like you're eating delicious, spicy food, and it doesn't hit you till later. When it does, and it's like, eyes are, everything is smoky. What do you recommend to the generation? That should they indulge in foods that are processed or, fast foods like McDonald's or other things? Or should they eat home cooked food that they know is clean, pure, and cooked with love, essentially?
Well, the thing is, I want my kids to stay away from processed food as much as possible, but somehow they love it, like McDonald's.
What's
for
not
some.
to love?
Yeah, like McDonald's. So, so while they indulge in McDonald's, I'm still finding substitute that is more healthy, that fit their taste bud. Because to them, McDonald's tastes good. I'm like, what, how does it taste good? I'm trying with you, and we could do better.
Basic. Yeah,
we could do better.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I tried this, it used to be bigger, and now it's all smaller. So.
Well, the other thing is the whole food, the way they kind of prepare it. They put certain ingredients in it that kind of gets you addicted and gives you that umami kind of feeling.
Yeah, yes.
And so you don't feel like you're eating something
that's
not good for you.
That has scientists, that has professional chef and everything to test the market.
Right.
So they're where they don't lose,
No. So they win all the time.
Yeah, yes.
Unfortunately, we lose.
Yes.
So I think that's my whole, thing that, let's look at how we eat,
True.
overall. What do you think, Dr. Pram? You kind of did your research on...
I was just fascinated by the culture of the Sichuan cuisine. And I really enjoyed your website.
Okay.
I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Learning the history that's the cuisine is almost 2,000 years old, and I never realized that. It's ancient in its way. The food is picked and created and cooked and things like that. So I found that fascinating. I also found the blending of different spices and different herbs and vegetables or whatever, because every region has its own signature.
Correct, yes.
Right? And the fact that Sichuan food tends to be spicier in general than, say, northern part of China or the eastern parts of China, so as to speak. The question is also, in Sichuan cooking, is there more meat or fish or chicken or what kind of protein is found in that area?
Yes.
Because it is land-bound.
Yes, it's in the valley, within the rivers. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I want you to correct us if you're pronouncing something incorrectly.
Oh yeah.
So, is Sichuan the correct pronunciation?
Yes, Sichuan. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm not, appropriating the.
Well, if you weren't going to say it in Chinese, but Chinese, that's close enough. Yeah. Sichuan.
Sichuan.
Yeah, that's in Chinese.
Well, yeah, Sichuan is that area in China.
Yeah, the province. Yes.
Province.
Yeah.
That has typically different food in terms of its own culture.
Yeah, in that province, the food are pretty much similar, but each like this is Fairfield County. In Fairfield County, there is like Fairfield, there's Norwalk, there's so just like in Central, there's Chengdu, there's Chongqing, and there's other cities around that area,
Correct.
slightly different, and make it. They say like if you're going to Chongqing, their hot pot is the most spiciest hot pot.
Right.
Well, everything that's all part of Sichuan cuisine.
Right.
So if you have a Sichuan, usually you have a little bit of little like those cities within that province.
Right.
Yes.
So the province is compared to a state, and then you have
Yes.
and have cities within the state, essentially. So in the province.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so each city has a little bit of a different flavor to it, or they have something special about their food.
Yeah, the flavor is different. Like more depth in the spice in Chongqing, and then Chengdu is more of like the food's more numbing, like the ma. Because Sichuan is mostly
the pepper.
Yeah, the peppercorn, the ma and the la means spice, and the ma is the numbing sensation. Yeah.
So that's very interesting because coming from India, we eat a lot of spicy food, and we always say every 20 miles you'll find a different flavor to the food. So it sounds very similar.
Yes.
Sounds very familiar. So this is what I'm trying to understand. So what made you want to start a Sichuan
Well,
restaurant?
the thing is, we want to start here in Fairfield is because over the years they have only what I consider Chinese American food.
Correct.
So I want to bring some kind of more authentic Chinese food. It's not what the Americans think of what real Chinese foods are. So
That's a food category by itself.
yeah. So it's like a mixture of American, and some are specially created for the American.
Yeah.
These Chinese food. So, so that's why we want the best of both worlds. So we try to create something, but doesn't want to scare them off too.
Correct.
So in our menu, we have maybe like 10 to 15% on our menu is like Chinese American food,
Right.
and the rest
Right.
is like more authentic.
More
food.
authentic
Yeah.
food. And how does that go down with the general public?
Well, everyone is different, so they will,
So
some people.
percentages, like,
Yeah,
would
most
people want to kind of go towards ordering more authentic food?
You had those exotic people who seeking adventure, they will go that route.
Right.
And then you have people who stay safe, know what they know, and then they'll go that route. And then some people who were like in between and like, oh, I've been trying all the American. Oh, they offer other stuff. Let me try the other stuff.
Right.
And then they will go into a new adventure.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think let's make that difference. Sichuanese cuisine is authentic to the Sichuan province, and American Chinese food is completely separate.
Yes.
Yes.
They're separate.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the audience?
We're here in Fairfield. It's 923 Post Road. We're looking forward to seeing you here.
Thank you.
And the name of the restaurant is
Gingko,
Gingko for the brain.
Yeah,
You will
Gingko
always
Sichuan
remember
cuisine,
it.
yes.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name first.
My name is Ying Yan. My name is like a jade in Chinese, like those kind of special like a jade. So, my last name is Yan Yan. Yes, and the funny thing is I and Roger have the same last name. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna
Do you think you
distribute-
come from the same area in?
No, he was born in Taiwan, and the mom later on when he was 7 years old, he moved to here. Taiwanese, the character is a little bit different than the mainland China. They use the traditional Chinese. We are simplified Chinese.
You run a beautiful restaurant.
Thank you.
You make such good, wonderful food.
Yes.
We just want to try to make a little bit different than the traditional what the Chinese food have in America right now. We just want to make a little bit different.
It's
Right,
very
yeah.
different. It is very different.
It's true.
You know, this is the first time I eat in Sichuan versus the regular Chinese food, and they're two different things.
Yeah, it's different, but still we need to let the people explore. There's so many things we need to introduce to our customers. Yeah.
So, I know Roger wanted to talk about it, but he couldn't. There's different regional food, right, in
Yes.
China. So, do you want to just give us maybe a few? Where you come from? You're not coming from the Sichuan province?
No. I'm coming from northern Zhejiang province. It's like more like north east coast.
Okay,
Oh no, it's
it's southeast, I
east
think.
coast. It's very close to Shanghai.
Okay,
Yeah, and we eat a very light food, and mostly it's seafood.
okay,
And all the seafood is we cook in a totally different way.
right.
In my home, at the beginning when I'm student here, I cannot even have any of the spice, but because in my hometown we no
You don't
people
eat spicy.
at all. We like to most of seafood. You should cook like the original way will be the taste the best.
Okay,
So the food region is more lighter, and we drink a lot of soup, something like that. Yes, it's totally different.
so broths,
Yes, cause my partner, they from Sichuan,
right.
and we realize like all the Sichuan cuisine is a strong flavor.
Yes.
And it's very easy for U.S. people to like accept the strongness and the spiciness will build up a lot of appetite for the food.
Right, right.
Yes. You know, I don't know in Indian, but I know Chinese people thinking that Sichuan peppercorn is like a medicine.
I think
Denomination.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a denomination.
Yes.
If you have some, which parts is hurting, like
Yeah.
a tooth hurt, like some parents will like the kids to like buy a few of the Sichuan peppercorn to build up denomination
Okay.
to release the pain.
It is. It's an
So it
herb.
numbs the
it's
pain.
Yeah.
a certain kind of herb.
Yes.
It's a peppercorn from this particular herb.
The most specialty for the Sichuan cuisine is that they use not just spicy, they use a lot of the Sichuan peppercorn which we call ma.
Okay,
Ma means numb. That's the difference.
got it. So the ma la,
Yeah, la
the
means
ma.
spicy.
So ma is numbness,
Numbness.
and la means spicy.
Spicy.
Yes.
So
So-
numb spicy.
Yes, so that's why we directly translate to like our food is mala bamboo shoots, mala beef stew, something like that. But you know, we need to explain to the customers what it exactly means.
Right. So there's sour. There's should I say, not just spicy, but also like fermented foods are there. Your sauces are all
Yes.
fermented, right?
Yes.
You use like black bean sauce. and-
Yeah, we use a lot of for the black bean sauce. Yeah, make
So-
it flavorful.
Yeah. So like your mapo tofu has black bean sauce in it, right?
Like spicy bean sauce and the Sichuan peppercorn.
Yeah.
That's make the mapo tofu is like a numbness and also spicy.
Right. Where you come from, you eat very light foods. You eat broths. You eat seafood. I'm sure that also helps in your health.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Yes. Our hometown is we're all very close to, we're next to the Shanghai.
Okay.
So the food will be very light, and part of the food is sweet, have a sweetness inside. Because even the cooking way is different.
Yeah.
We use, we not eat the flour that much, we eat a lot of rice noodles, rice cake, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, rice, all the rice.
Yeah. So Sichuan is one kind. Your cuisine, what is it called? Does it have a name?
It's no.
It's
Now
not-
it's very famous, getting very popular in Flushing, New York.
Yeah.
It's like a we call it, because I'm from like a, only have a Chinese name. I'm not
That's
sure
fine,
the-
that's fine.
江浙菜, because
Okay,
it is where I'm came from.
Yeah, yeah.
江浙style, those kind.
Jiangsu style. Okay.
It's more like close to the ocean. Yeah.
That's why the fish
all different kind of seafood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's different.
And so I think the most popular, from what I understand, is the Cantonese from the beginning, Cantonese food.
Our hometown food is very similar to Cantonese.
Cantonese.
Very similar.
Yeah. So the dim sums, that's part of Cantonese cuisine.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, all different kind of dim sum. Those like those little street eat like tapas. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Do you want to say something about your food in general, like Chinese food in general, or you want to share something with your customers?
So when at the beginning and we opened here, it's like because I went to the school in UB. Because you know when I was a student over there, I would feel like I don't have like my food, good Chinese food to eat.
Home food, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing maybe I need to go to all the way to New York Flushing.
Right.
And so if we can have something like nearby here, that will be good for me. Yes.
Right. Right.
You know, for me, I think my target is just like if I have a restaurant, I don't have to cook because I don't know how to cook. So that's it. I just want to like easier for me. I
Right.
don't need to worry about how to cook, and I have some place to eat.
Yeah.
So that's why we try to make the place like what we, like a home. Like I really wanted to be like a warm here, cozy here, and eat it like as much as what we eat it when I was in China. But we have a lot of people came all the way from New Haven, like Yale
Yeah.
students, Chinese. They like to food here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So that's good. That's good. I know the one in Milford, everybody used to go there before you opened up here.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people come here.
Yeah, it's closer.
Yeah.
Most of the people are used to all the way driving to there because in Fairfield County there's nothing.
Nothing.
And the only thing is authentic is the one who located in Milford. So they would like to drive in all the way to there.
Right.
But now since we're open, people choose the closer one.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I think one of our employees, Chinese employees, he introduced us to the one in Milford. And then they said it's opening in Fairfield, and we were like, we live there. It's so
Yeah,
easy.
it's
so
like a few
convenient.
minutes. Yeah, you even could walk to there.
Yeah, we do all the time. So, yeah,
Yes.
it's very convenient. Thank you, Joanna,
Thank you.
Thank
Prreeti.
you.
for spending time with us.
Such a pleasure,
Thank
yes.
you. Yes. So
Go
do
see
you want
the
to?
We
kitchen.
would love to, yeah.
Okay, sure. All the
Thank you.
cheese, dry cheese. All the sauce is homemade.
That looks so good.
Yeah, the chef is very good at making the Sichuan.
I'm sure.
I'll let the chef to introduce to you what's the sauce. 它要那个花椒油、花椒粉，就是因为他们没看过川菜。This is the powder of the grounding of the Sichuan peppercorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I can give you a little bit to smell it.
我
Yeah.
说这是川菜的灵魂。
It's oil.
This is our
Sichuan.
homemade. It's like put a lot of ingredient inside, not just red oil. We put a lot of the spice inside to boil it. Yes.
And you cook it?
You cook it for a long time, like a couple hours to build up. So with a lot of spice inside. Yeah, and those is the dry chili, all homemade. So
wow.
we made it by ourselves. So that's
With the oil in it.
that's where
the
all
chilies,
homemade. Yes.
Yeah. You use that for the
Yes.
flavoring of the dishes, basically.
Yes.
Base.
And
And that's the black bean.
oh, this is for the Sichuan pepper, like
On the
those-
side,
Yeah,
yeah.
the paste.
Yeah.
With the bean sauce.
Oh,
Bean
okay.
sauce. Yeah, bean sauce.
I can
Spicy
smell
bean
it.
sauce. Yes.
Yes, very
Yes,
good.
Yeah.
Very fragrant.
Most of the dishes you had is what he make for you.
Yeah.
He is our executive chef. Yeah, chef Luo. Yes. Yeah, Luo Shifu. Yes.
My mouth is alive. You know, my exposure to Chinese food was in India.
Okay.
And I thought all Chinese food would be spicy.
Right.
Because, you know, I used to get
The influence.
Right.
It was the influenced Chinese food.
Right.
So Indian influenced Chinese food.
Right. But I didn't know that there were different districts and different ways of cuisine.
Regions.
And different regions that have different flavors.
Right. Right.
So that was kind of interesting for me.
yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, when I first came to this country, I think I was eating the Americanized Chinese food.
Correct.
Which was the chop suey and the egg foo
Yeah.
young or whatever. And I said, that doesn't taste like what I was eating in India.
Right. So from what I understand is, you know, the initial Chinese food that came to America was Cantonese influenced. So coming from Shanghai or, you know, Hong Kong, and then kind of adjusted to the American palate.
Correct.
So it was Chinese American food.
Right.
And then now, in the recent years, more regional foods have started coming.
Correct.
So I like to explore and find what different regional foods I can consume because I'm vegetarian, and most of their foods, you know, are meat based.
Right.
But I've been, you know, it's been good because I really like the Sichuan cuisine very much. And that's why we visited one of the best restaurants in Fairfield County that serves up the best Sichuan food, which is Gingko in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Right.
What did you think of that?
It was actually a surprise. I didn't have any expectations. But then when the food was presented and we talked about all the different types of food and what they put in it, it was fascinating. I was just blown away. And the taste of the food was, you know, it had a little bit of what I thought was a little Indian flavor, but it's the spices and the influence of the different areas that created that Sichuan food. Yes.
Yeah. So from what I understand, the Sichuan province is located very close to the Tibetan prefecture and also to Arunachal Pradesh in India.
In India, yes.
So I see the food influences
Yes.
in that cuisine. I think you were reading and you thought there were more places that it was
in
influenced
fact,
by.
what I found out was that there's an influence from South America
Oh,
in 16th and 17th century
wow.
because of the Portuguese and the Spanish trade, the Silk Route,
Right.
which brought in maybe peppers, you know.
Right.
The Tibet region, and they were talking about yak butter because yaks are common in that area,
Correct.
and preserving meat, and the use of wild mushrooms,
Right.
which in mountainous areas of Sichuan they have.
They have that.
And then the Mongolian cuisine, which I never thought about,
Yeah.
is about hot pots,
Yes.
and which is part of their cuisine.
Correct.
And also roasting meats
Okay.
have their roots in Mongolian cuisine.
Okay.
The Hunan cuisine really is inter-regional
Right.
in the love for hot and sour or hot and smoky and things like
Correct. Which is what we
right.
also taste in the Sichuan.
that. Sichuan food. And also there are certain other fermented foods that you talked about,
Yeah.
like even pickled vegetables
Right.
and wild herbs that are used from the mountains of
Okay.
Sichuan.
Okay.
So that I thought was interesting. And Buddhist influence.
Right.
And
Right.
the vegetarian cuisine,
Correct.
that was also interesting. And I think finally, I guess the mala, the thought of mala,
Right. Which is this hot, spicy flavor,
correct.
essentially.
You see them on their menu.
Yeah, it's like the mala dishes are an essential if you go to a Sichuanese restaurant.
Right.
But that's not the only thing that should be consumed
Correct.
because there's so much more.
Right.
To get.
Right.
So this basically Sichuan cuisine originated in the Sichuan province of China. The province is located in southwest China, and is renowned for its spicy food. That's what I'm reading. Some of the well-known places that people might know or are familiar with is Chengdu and Chongqing. I think Chongqing right now is like a huge capital for electric cars as well. So I heard someone talk about it, and that's why I think people are a little more familiar with these places. But the food that comes through there is Sichuanese cuisine. So let's talk about the history and geography, which you just kind of gave us a little bit of a lesson there. So the location doesn't affect the food, is what I'm asking. You're in the mountains. They eat, spicy food for that reason.
Yes, I think so, and also the influences of all these different people that came into their region. It's fascinating because they grow their own herbs.
Right.
They have yaks.
Right.
I mean,
So they drink yak milk as well.
correct.
Okay.
And mushrooms grow on the sides of their mountains and things. So they were using local ingredients to create their food.
Right.
And also the pickling part of it is because they needed to preserve this.
Well, I guess if you go back in time, there were no refrigerators.
Correct.
So how are you going to preserve your food to use it for a long time, or maybe seasonal? So if you preserve it in summer, you can still use it in the winter.
Correct.
Essentially.
Right. And there's value to pickling or fermenting food because it really increases the microbiomes in the body.
Correct.
And that is very beneficial for the health of the system.
Yeah, I mean, so your gut's taken care of with the food you're eating.
Correct.
Right? And you're drinking hot tea.
Right.
Watery tea along with it. So there is some history to that I'm not 100% familiar with, but I think there was a problem with the water over there. That's why they started boiling it and drinking it as tea along with their food.
Correct.
It's my understanding.
It is true because I think, when you get sick from drinking contaminated water.
Right.
So they have to boil it and maybe even strain it to get almost, pure water.
And so tea also has tannins in there.
The tea that they were using were basically, grown on the mountainsides. And the tannins were important for digestion.
Okay.
And for the stomach acids to work.
Right. So if it was bad water and the tea contains tannins, it's actually helping you not to get sick from if there is any problem.
Correct.
Essentially.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
It helps in that way, yes.
Okay. So you have essentially a very healthy meal in front of you.
Correct.
So you have the fermented, you have meats if they're eating meats. If tofu seems to be a big part of their food culture overall, where tofu is called out in the U.S. For many things, and I'm going to let you talk about that. It's really a big part of their culture.
It is because also it's the type of meat that they were eating were probably goat and yaks and things like that.
Right.
And for the vegetable part of it, from the soybean, they were getting the tofu, the fermented tofu.
So tofu essentially is soybean, which is a legume.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
So it contains protein and contains fiber.
Right.
And isoflavones.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the benefits of eating tofu. Can we do that?
Well, yeah. Well, tofu has benefits because it has all of these things. It's like whole food. It's a whole complete food.
Right.
And since it is a fermented product,
Yeah.
it helps how the body digests it.
Right.
It's easier to digest.
Right.
It's also a precursor for certain hormones
Okay.
that, which again keeps the body in balance. So it has a hormonal balance, digestive balance, and because of the microbiomes, it also helps the neurotransmitters.
Okay. That's a huge benefit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Sichuan cuisine is, from what I understand, divided into 3 schools. One is the wrong school, and the Chinese words for it is a Shanghe Gang. The Yu school is the second one, and the Chinese words for it are Xiahe Gang and Salt Gang, or the Salt School, Xiamhe Gang. That's what they're called. I hope not to offend anybody. I've tried my best to find the correct pronunciations. I asked my daughter what the pronunciations are because she speaks Mandarin. And please, this is a clear disclaimer. If I said something wrong, I apologize in advance.
I'm not even going there.
So those three subtypes share similarities, but focus on different elements. Now the elements probably are from the seasonings, and that's what we were talking about. Modern Sichuan cuisine can be tracked back to the late Ming Dynasty and Qing Dynasty, when chili peppers were first imported. So you're talking about it came from Latin America. From what I understand, chili peppers in the world came from Mexico. The cuisine of Sichuan began to change, and more dishes began to feature chili peppers and other spices.
Correct.
So I think the food that we ate had, different kinds of chili peppers. It had garlic. It had ginger. It had some like cinnamon. It had star anise seeds. All those kind of mixture, was put into the sauces, and the combination was put in the sauces. So what I want to understand is, when did it come to, or how did it come to the U.S.?
Well, it was always fascinating how different countries and their food and culture come to United States.
Right.
And so I went into a deep dive and I found that in the 80s, in the 1800s, there was some Chinese food in the United States, but it was unknown, basically. It was in 1949 onwards, when there's a communist revolution, the people started to leave mainland China.
Got it.
And this included the Sichuanese chefs. And they went to Thailand, to Taiwan, to Hong Kong, to the West, and other countries. And they brought with them their culture and their foods. But it was in the 1960s that people started to look at the Sichuan food, but they didn't know what it was. And it was in the 90s that they started to look for exotic Chinese food.
Interesting.
And this is when the Sichuan palate grew, to that point where now Sichuan peppercorns were being introduced to the diet.
Right.
The fermentation and the different types of fermentation was being brought in. The use of different spices, like you said, the cumin and the cinnamon, things that you would really think of in...
Which I think is part of Indian cuisine, like cumin
Also.
or coriander seeds and any of the garam masalas, which is cinnamon, the star anise seeds, cardamom even.
There was something.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the dishes that we ate
Yeah.
was the tofu with cumin.
Correct.
What's it called?
It's actually used to cook lamb. It's just called cumin lamb. I don't know what the Chinese, version of that is, but it's called cumin lamb. And because I'm vegetarian, I requested them to make tofu for me.
Yes. Oh, it was outstanding.
It was fantastic.
Outstanding. It was so good.
Yeah, and they put it on their menu now, so it's just kind of nice. But it's so you see that.
Yes. So of course it has unique flavors. The cuisine itself is interesting. And of course, but once it started coming, more restaurants were open.
Right.
It became more popular.
Yeah. If you go to New York City now, or if you go to Flushing in New York, you see so many Sichuanese restaurants, which was never there.
Right.
Like I when I first, started going with my aunt and uncle, which is almost 31 years ago. We used to go to Flushing, and what you find is dim sum restaurants, which is essentially Cantonese food. And so spices was never part of that. And
Yes.
for me coming from India, I couldn't eat it because it was like not my palate. You know, I had to really, really bring down
Oh, you have to look for the hot sauce.
and look. I think all Indians carry hot sauce in their purse.
Yes.
But yes, so the chili oils kind of
Yes.
made it sparkle for me.
Right.
And then I'm seeing Sichuan cuisine, chili oil plays a big, huge part.
Right.
I think that's also, when people start traveling, they're traveling different parts of the world and realize that different parts of the world have different cuisines.
Correct.
So when we were talking to Roger, and he also mentioned how in China, every like 50 miles, there's a different element to the food. And it's just like India, where you live in different states or even different regions, you want to call it. Every 20 miles, I feel the flavor changes a little bit.
Right.
There's different inclusions of different spices and how they're cooked. It's the same in China. If you look at Chinese American food, it's just one menu. So if you want to eat beef with broccoli, then
I would imagine that.
or orange chicken.
Yeah, but if it was Sichuan food,
Right.
they would put different spices in there. They would add
So many different dishes.
yes,
So many different dishes.
Yeah.
So they have these mung bean noodles that are fermented.
yes,
It's fermented mung bean, and they slice it up. You make it like paneer. And they slice it up in
Yes.
noodles, and they put it in this lovely chili hot sauce with garlic and some spring onions, and it tastes so wonderful.
oh God, yes,
If you like squishy things, gelatinous things,
yeah.
that's something to look forward to.
But that was one with the noodles.
Yes, correct.
It was slipping right off.
So,
Well, they were really good, really good.
yeah.
The noodle itself, I think it I didn't get the taste of the noodle itself, but the sauces around it
Right.
flavored it.
Yes. To me, all food should be flavored, period. And that's the thing. It tastes better.
Right.
But anyway, so I just feel like they have that element where they flavor their food very well.
Here again, looking at different foods from different parts of the world, fermentation is part of that cuisine, right?
Right. Yes. And it kind of brings in a certain flavor.
Exactly.
Right. So the flavor profile is created keeping that in mind.
But it didn't taste vinegary.
No,
Which
it
was
didn't.
interesting.
So it was not sour,
Right.
but it had flavor essentially. And to me, I mean, that's it, right? So you want to bring in these elements of different flavors and make your food taste good. And from what I understand, it doesn't take very long to cook either.
Right.
It's a little bit of pre-prep,
Yes.
and you're using these fermented sauces which have been prepared from before,
Yes.
and you inculcate it into your cuisine while you're cooking it.
Correct.
So it doesn't take long to cook.
No.
So why can't we eat it fresh?
Yes. And I also want to say, stop getting food in a box, which has been prepared by some institution. Get it fresh.
Get it fresh.
Get it
Touch and feel your food.
exactly. Feel everything. Taste everything. Look at it. Smell it. All your senses have to be primed.
For you to digest that food.
Exactly.
Then it tastes good there.
Yeah.
On your tongue, you're tasting exactly what you just touched. You looked at.
Right.
You felt.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then you can actually understand the different flavor profiles. If I add this, what this tastes like. If I take this out, what it tastes like. It's such a wonderful thing to do.
Well, I'd love for you to tell me about the Sichuan peppercorns.
So, I think there's multiple different chili, chilies that they use, but the two that I'm familiar with is the red peppers and the Sichuan peppercorns.
Yes.
And the clear difference is, the chilies, the red chilies don't really add a heat. They add a little bit of heat to it, to the food, but they give a lot of flavor. So they smoke those chili peppers sometimes, or they burn them a little bit, and that adds flavor to the food. The Sichuan chili peppers is the more complex of the two. So once if you consumed anything with Sichuan chili peppers, it tastes fantastic in the beginning, but then it numbs your tongue a little bit, and then you feel the spice. So it's hit your tongue.
That's the peppercorns, I think. Yeah. So it's a numbing effect,
Correct.
and then as you experience after you've eaten it, you suddenly feel the burn,
Right.
and that's sort of like, wow, what
What has happened here?
Yeah, what was that? Yeah,
It's a whole tantalizing effect
yes
on your
It-
tongue.
it's not horrible. It's just so
It's good.
good, but it's so gentle and yet pronounced.
Yes. So you actually feel, if you're someone who likes to understand your food and understand what it's doing, you can understand what it's doing to your tongue very easily because it has the stages. I think that is what chilies do for you.
Correct.
What are the benefits of eating chilies?
Oh, all of this sounds so interesting because part of this is, let's face it, it helps to boost the metabolism because now you're on fire. Okay.
So you're sweating.
Okay. The capsaicin, which is very heating to the system, and start to burn calories. It's also pain relief. When you use capsaicin, it's used for pain relief.
Okay.
Not that you're trying to numb a tooth, but you could.
Or you're down for the
It does have that kind of numbing effect. It's also for cardiovascular health because it helps to reduce blood pressure, believe it or not.
That's interesting because it causes heat in your body, but it reduces your blood pressure.
And brings down the cholesterol, improves the circulation. And studies show that it lowers the heart rate risk
Wow.
in populations that are generally consuming spicy food.
Okay.
It has an antioxidant effect because the vitamin C, the beta carotene,
Right.
the flavonoids help reduce oxidative stress.
Okay.
And you know what oxidative stress is?
Yes, but maybe for the viewers, you can.
Well, I describe oxidative stress as take an apple, cut it in half. On one half of the apple, just squeeze some lemon, and on the other half, don't do anything. And within a few minutes, or maybe even 10 minutes, the part that had the lime or lemon sort on it stays white,
Right.
whereas the one that didn't have anything turns brown. That's oxidation. Like you get rusty. So it rusts.
Right. That's a great explanation for oxidative stress.
So that's what oxidative stress is. And we don't like that because oxidative stress will produce inflammation.
Okay.
It helps digestion because it stimulates the enzymes and it helps the gastric juice.
Okay. Okay.
So the gastric
So
juice.
similar to what sour will do for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Helps the microbiomes. I mean, it helps the to eliminate certain harmful bacteria
Okay.
and fungus that
Oh, wow.
that shouldn't be there in your gut.
Okay.
So it helps to take care of those things. And for some people, especially me, it helps me to elevate my mood. And therefore, it is a mood food.
There you go. There you go. It does something for you.
Yes, yes.
Not a lot more than something.
Yes, and the a beneficial effect is it helps to clear your sinuses.
So for people suffering from allergies, if they eat chilies, it'll clear their sinuses.
Yeah, they'll drip their nose till it's cleared. And apparently, it also protects the brain by reducing neuroinflammation. Which is important,
huge.
especially
Yeah.
some of the research has shown that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
It's overall a beneficial food.
Yes. Let's not.
We like it just for what it is, but it has a lot of benefits.
It definitely has beneficial effects.
Right. So from what I understand, is one chili, so green chili, has about 500 milligrams of vitamin C in it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
It's probably true. I didn't look at the content of that.
Okay.
But it's unique to all of us to have
Right.
a little bit. I mean, if you look at Mexican cuisine, you look at Indian cuisine, you look at now Sichuan cuisine, it's getting more and more popular to have.
So it's actually chilies are consumed in a lot of the tropical countries.
Yeah.
And to think about it is the tropical climate, usually the countries are hot, but they're still consuming chilies when they should be consumed also in the colder climates because it heats up your body.
But it doesn't grow in colder climates.
That's true.
You know,
That's
so we're talking about regional parts of the world.
Right.
So in certain parts, these things are there to help us in that region.
Correct.
So when you transport it to another region,
So nature has its way of
then it changes the dynamic in the body. Say if you're a Northern European, if you really look at their cuisine, it's mostly meat and dairy.
right.
And there is some
It's just
support. Yeah. But now you bring Sichuan to North America, it changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yes, that's
So-
when you eat the lamb with the cumin
Yes.
and peppers.
Yes.
Chili peppers.
Yeah. Shoot. I don't know. I think it's so wonderful. In America, we have all these different cuisines.
Correct.
And
I
all
think
these,
we're very lucky.
we are so fortunate to have this kind of adventure
Yes,
in our backyard.
absolutely. I think it's spoiled me a lot. Where I was used to eating Indian food every day, home cooked Indian food.
Sure.
You come to New York and you get to experience a different cuisine every single day.
Right.
If you're adventurous and if you like that, that's what you do.
Right.
You're eating a different cuisine every day. So now my kids are used to that, and every evening the question is, what are we eating? And if I tell them it's Indian food, they're like, nah,
Not again. Not again.
no, let's try something different.
Right.
So we're cooking Chinese, especially during COVID. I think all the cooking channels, became extremely popular.
Right.
And I learned to cook, I don't know how many different cuisines at home because
That's
we
great.
couldn't go to the restaurants.
Right.
And one of them was, Chinese cuisine, which I followed like crazy because I love Chinese food.
Well, the thing is, you have to qualify what kind of Chinese food, and we're really talking about
Sichuan. Yes.
because there are so many other kinds of Chinese
Yeah.
food that have different flavors and different ways of cooking things.
Right.
Not as spicy, not that maybe even bland,
Right.
especially if you go northern China.
Right. I think it's almost like, you get the darker sauces when you come to the warmer climates, and then the northern side, it's more like boiled or white sauces that they use.
Yes.
Cuisine.
It's
It's just
very different.
It's a little different. So, let's talk about the seasonings, the different kinds of sauces, the cuisines, well, the food that we ate. Like the mapo tofu had the fermented black bean or broad bean paste.
Correct.
I think, in it. So that was one of them. So it's called the dubonjiang. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the other one is the fermented black soybean. And also they use. It's not just the sauce, but the soybean itself.
You're right.
That's fermented and used in their sauces. So that provides like an earthy flavor
Yes.
and is used very sparingly in the dishes, but it's also high in salt content. But it's that combined flavor that really gives you the kick when you're eating any of those dishes.
Right.
So it's called dokchi. And then the chili peppers. So those are, I think, big part. So chili peppers, Sichuan peppers, those two sauces are a big part of making any flavor profile in a Sichuanese dish. The chili oil, which is
Yes.
my favorite part.
Right.
So if something is not as spicy as or not as hot as I like, I'd use the chili oil. The chili oil is very flavorful. It's got Sichuan, the not just the chili flakes, and sesame oil, but it has, I think, the Sichuan peppercorns
Yes.
and some maybe garlic and stuff in there. So
They
really has-
just keep it that way and marinates that way.
correct. I think they cook it a little bit and then they put it away
Mm.
for fermentation.
Right.
So it's like pickle, plain pickle, but it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So so it says it's made with vegetable oil or sesame oil. Aromatics are ginger and onion and Sichuan fried chili flakes and spices.
Right.
And you can flavor noodles and salad, which also brings us to, what the aromatics are again.
Right.
The aromatics, I think, are basic in most, Chinese dishes, which is like ginger, garlic, and green onion. But here they add a kick by adding these fermented sauces.
Unique to that region, that area,
Right.
and their cuisine.
Right, and the chili oils, and they bring in, which is again what in the chili peppers, the Sichuan is. So that's your whole dish essentially. So I think it tastes good and it feels good too.
Right.
We'll talk about flavors. So I think when we started this, we're talking about the mala.
Yes.
Flavors. So-
Because that's a signature taste. That's
Correct.
a signature of the Sichuan food.
Right.
And basically, mala is sort of numbing and spicy.
Right.
It's a very different flavor.
So from what I understand, when you talk about a mala dish, you're finding the meat or tofu or whatever vegetable they cook in the chili peppers.
You cook it in the chili pepper. Ooh, yes. Yes.
And that's what I understand from that.
Right.
So that's, but it doesn't really, it depends how spicy you want it.
Right.
But that's kind of the idea of that. So it's really like heightened chili hot flavor, essentially. And then, so I would equate like the cumin tofu that we had to maybe the mala flavor. Because it was dry fried
Yes.
with chili peppers and cumin. And then they're talking about the scorched chili flavor. When we had the bok
That's
choy,
right. Yes.
that was the
Scorched one.
scorched one. So they had the chili peppers that were, I think, they just burned a little bit.
Yes.
And then they had the ginger garlic and the bok choy and the sesame oil in it. So that to me is the flavor.
Well, it's also interesting. They use a lot of sesame oil.
Yes. And their sesame oil is quite strong flavor.
Yes.
So it's almost like it's roasted sesame and then they kind of take the oil.
Make the oil out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of a strong flavor.
Yes.
And then they have this sesame paste flavor. So it's almost like having tahini sauce. They use that as a base and then they put the garlic or whatever sauces they need. And we had dandan noodles. So that's your sesame paste
Yeah.
or the tahini sauce base with the chili peppers. It almost tastes like gravy. But they put the noodles in there and they'll put some bok choy. Dandan noodles come with pork. I have the vegetarian version, so you don't do that. But when they put pork or they put the broth in there.
I see.
So that kind of flavors the noodles.
Right.
So those are the different dishes we had. And they use the dry frying method very
Yes.
often, which is very different from just frying something. So they fry the meat or the tofu or the vegetables, and then
They separately fry that.
yes, and then they start the sauce or whatever they're going to flavor it. And so it's actually a dry dish, almost like an appetizer.
Right.
So it's intense. So those are, I think, most of it. The most famous Sichuan food dishes is the mala hot pot. We're
I
talking
was
about
just going to ask you that question. Yes.
yeah. So you're talking about the Mongolian cuisine.
Yes.
The hot pots are
hot pots. Yeah.
so that's the influence right there.
Right.
So it's not only just a hot pot, but it's a spicy hot pot. So I think recent years there have been restaurants that have opened where you paying like $40 or $50 and they bring all kinds of meats to your table and they bring you a big bowl of broth and you can take that and it cooks it right there.
Right there and then.
And it's
And is that the hot pot then?
yes.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they do it with vegetables.
Yeah, yeah. So I think they do, but you have to find a good restaurant that does it well.
So it's just hot water? Or
No, it's broth essentially.
what kind of broth?
So it could be chicken or beef or whatever. They have different. It's pork. I think a lot of it is pork.
Yeah, they do eat a lot. Yeah, I think.
And I think they also do some seafood, but I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Well, I know Sichuan doesn't have a big seafood
No.
palette there
Why do you think is that?
because it's landlocked. Yeah,
Right.
they might have some
It's not on the
river,
coast.
river
It's
thing.
in
but, you know,
inside. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they have a limited amount of seafood, but they do like it's not if you're coming on the coast.
Right.
The prevalence of seafood in their
Mhm.
menus. Then we had the mapo tofu, which was
Yes.
all of the seasoning that we talked about.
Yes.
That's usually made with pork, and it's a dish I think the Chinese take a lot of pride in preparing because the flavors really, really after.
You mean with the pork thing?
Yeah, the
Twice
mapo.
cooked pork.
No, the mapo tofu.
Ma. Mhm.
It's like a very traditional dish. So if it's not prepared correctly, that's a problem. And
Wow.
so, and if it is prepared correctly, and if you don't compliment the chef or whoever's
Who
cooking,
made it? Yeah.
they get offended.
Oh dear. Better remember that.
You make sure you.
Yes. Well, I remember when we were leaving, the chef was there, and we waved to him and thanked him. Yeah. Because we really enjoyed the food, so I think that
Right.
was a compliment.
Yes.
You're right. You know, every time I go to a restaurant and I really enjoy the food, I want to meet the chef.
Correct.
And it's always nice when the chef comes out and talks to the people there.
Yes.
That's just so heartwarming.
Yeah. That happened to us when we went to Bungalow.
Yes, and it was really like, oh, he cares for how
It's
he.
very heartwarming.
Yes,
Yes.
it's important, I think.
Yeah, I think that really enhances what you eat overall.
You did too.
You did
It's a
say-
full circle.
Yes.
It's you walk in, the ambiance, and then how you greeted, and how you situated, how you feel in that ambiance, and it sets you up to receive the food.
Right.
Even though you don't always, I just ordered because you knew more about it than I did, and I said I'll taste anything and everything, and it was delicious.